Delta Riverboat. Hello.
Well, welcome aboard everyone to the Delta Riverboat Company. I'm so glad to have all of you here. This is actually my first boat of the day. I've been doing other things all day long, so I'm glad to have y'all. Before we get down the river, I want to make sure you see the little bitty tree over on the left side of the boat in that pedestal. We have her up there because she's the smallest, shortest tree. I don't want you to overlook her. She is a willow oak bonsai tree. Not only is she the smallest tree in our atrium, she's also one of the oldest trees. Over 120 years old. Wow, she is really old. So we respect our elders and give them a place of honor. My name is Paul, and I'm honored to be your boat captain as we make our way around this Delta River, which was built way back in 1996, before all of my junior captains were born. This river is a quarter of a mile long. It's only 2 feet deep, 2 feet of water underneath us. That's why I did not put y'all through a life jacket drill, because I figured if you fall out of the boat, just stand up. You'll be all right. I'll let the next boat pick you up. It took 450,000 gallons of water to fill this river up. If you think that'd be enough water, but oh no, somebody came up with a bright idea for a grand opening. We partnered with Jack Daniels, who provided us with 3,000 little 2-ounce Jack Daniel bottles. Now they were empty. I don't know who got to empty them. I wasn't here at the time. I've been glad to be a team player, you know. But they gave these empty bottles to our guests, asked them to take it home, fill it with water from one of their local waterways, send it back to us, let us know where it came from. Well, we got back over 1,700 bottles from all 50 states and over 30 countries around the world. We list those waterways on these 13 plaques on the other side of the foxtail ferns. They're listed by country and state, so you can find out if you see any waterways from your neck of the woods. And on the grand opening, they poured all this extra water from around the world into this river and made the proclamation: whenever you are here in Nashville, Tennessee and taking a ride on the Delta boat, which you are on international waters. So y'all made a great decision to ride with us today. You pat yourself on the back. Woo! As we make our way around this beautiful place, I'm going to tell you about some of the plants, the trees, and maybe a little bit of the story how this place came about. First of all, these trees on the left side of the boat, left side of the river, this one and the next one is a tabletop black olive tree. You're not going to find any black olives up there because it is purely an ornamental tree. It's a native to Florida, but this is the very first time these trees were ever grown inside. We can pull that off in the Delta Atrium. All other times they're outside. And they call it a black olive because these leaves are very similar to the leaves on a black olive tree. Now this tree over here on the right side is one of our newer trees. This is an angel trumpet tree. It gets its name from the blooms hanging down, look like golden trumpets hanging down from above. If you look in front of the boat, straight ahead, way up high, you see those lights way down there, up there? That is the largest chandelier in our resort. Is 158 light bulbs. That thing is made of wrought iron. It weighs 3,000 pounds.
Whoa.
So friends, we are here entering in the convention center part of our resort. 80% of our guests here are on some kind of convention, and this is one of the most popular places in America for these kind of events. By the time we get around these 2 geyser fountains, you'll understand why. But first I wanted to tell you how it came to pass that we got another donation of water. And this time it was exactly just over 13 years ago. 13 years and about 2 days. On May the 3rd, 2010, there was a big donation of water given to this river. We didn't ask for it, we didn't expect it, and we certainly didn't want it. The Cumberland River, which is outside the resort here, it is next to the parking lot out there. It overflowed its banks. It flooded downtown Nashville. It flooded the Opry Mills Mall, and it flooded this resort we are in.
Wow.
You see the red line on the column in the middle of the river? That is how high the floodwaters got in here.
Wow.
You know anything about Gaylord Opryland? Country Christmas is our big celebration where we turn this place into a winter wonderland. All of our Christmas decorations got washed away in the flood. So it took teams working night and day for 6 solid months, and miraculously they were able to get us back in gear so that we could open up for our next country Christmas that very November. Says a lot because it took them all 2 years before they were able to reopen. So they really worked hard providing it. So here's the story about this place. In 1977 is when the first hotel was built on this property. It was the Magnolia Hotel, this white brick wall on the other side of the palms. It used to be just red bricks before they painted it all white. This was the outside of the hotel, and where we are floating was the parking lot and the tennis court. There was only just about 600 rooms in that hotel and a relatively small ballroom called the Tennessean. It didn't take long for them to fill up that hotel. And then they had to make a decision, are we going to keep sending people down to another hotel? They said, no, we're going to add more to here. So they started expanding. First with the Garden Observatory Atrium with more rooms, and they built a larger presidential ballroom to handle more meeting space. And then in 1988, they added the Cascades Atrium with the new lounge to handle the extra guests coming in, and a governor's ballroom. And finally in 96, they added this beautiful Delta Atrium, which we're enjoying, which is the largest atrium. And this is the largest ballroom on the second floor back here. That Delta ballroom is so massive, it can accommodate 4,000 people around tables and 7,000 people theater style. So we've gone from having only 600 guest rooms. Now we got 2,888 guest rooms, 5 presidential suites, 220 suites, and 700,000 square feet of meeting space.
Wow.
That's why we're so popular with conventions, because we can accommodate groups of nearly any size. In fact, this is the largest resort and convention center under one roof in all of North America that does not have gaming or doesn't have casinos. When you bet on that, you just can't bet on that here. Look on the right side of the boat, you see these beautiful orchids. Orchids come in 25,000 different species. Now, we don't have that many, but we got a nice variety of them. I was asked one time if our orchids are real. Yes, friends, our orchids are real, our plants are real, our trees are real, your boat captain is real, and we have a team of real horticulturists, special gardeners who come in every day, some of them before sunrise, to take care of our river life, our plants, our trees, and they take care of our orchids. And I guarantee you, friends, my lovely wife, she is not on that team. If she was, these orchids would be dead in 2 weeks. So let me tell you about the different trees we're coming up on the right. The first tree is from Central America, from Brazil. This is a papaya tree. And there's actually some papaya fruit growing in the top of that tree. They're small and green now. They'll grow to be about the size of a small cantaloupe.
There it is,
They'll turn yellow, and then they'll be ready to be picked. On the right side, next to that, is a pineapple guava tree from Mexico that does not have any fruit and will not have any fruit. It is the only one of its species in this atrium, and it does not cross-pollinate, so we're not going to expect any fruit on her. The next tree is an orange tree, which will flower and bear fruit eventually. That next one is a lime tree. There's actually a lime on it on the right side, about a third way. Right now you can see it, right to the right of the tree. You see that? Next to that tree is a kumquat tree by the red bricks, and in front of that is an avocado tree. The last 2 trees on the right, why, those are grapefruit trees. Now check out these 2 trees over here on this side. This is these are called ponytail palm trees. Isn't that cute? Well, it's a shame that that according to scientists, they're misnamed. And I agree with the scientists. First of all, the scientists explain. Those are not palm leaves. Those are palm leaves up there and over here on the palms. Secondly, they say technically they're not even trees. They don't have the root system of a tree. So instead they call them succulents, not trees. And thirdly, the scientists don't say this, I say this. I don't think neither one of them looks like a ponytail. I think it looks like a mop top or thing 1 or thing 2 from Cat in the Hat.
Right.
If you want to call it a ponytail, you do like some of these ladies here back there in the back and up there. You put a ribbon around those leaves. Then it might look like a ponytail. Otherwise, let's change the name to something that makes sense. So if you look way up high, you'll see the highest point of our atrium right there. That is 15 stories all the way to the tip top there. We got our American flag flying on the top of that. There are 6,200 panes of glass in our atriums. Now, if we lay those out side by side, it would cover the area of 7 football fields. I don't want to alarm any of you, but every one of those panes of glass hanging above your head are 1 inch thick and weigh up to 250 pounds. But don't worry, our atrium is strong enough. It can withstand winds up to 120 miles per hour and golf ball size hail. I see y'all already enjoying the central attraction of our Delta atrium, and that is our Delta fountains. We've got 106 small fountains that surround that geyser in that middle. Now that geyser is shooting up a little bit now, but when it wants to show off, it can zoom up 85 feet in the air, which is taller than these palms. If you want to see it do that, you can hang around there. You might get lucky, it'll do it for you. Or come tonight at 6, 7, 8, and 9 o'clock. They have a Delta fountain show with colorful LED lights coordinated with music. Fun, fabulous shows to watch, and they're absolutely free. All you got to do is come over here and sit down here and enjoy them. Compliments of Gaylord Opryland. So I hope you get a chance to do that. So friends, in front of us above the bridge where we're about to go under, you see that beautiful building up there with the white columns? That is a replica of the Mississippi, no it's not, it's a replica of an estate outside of New Orleans that's called Evergreen. We got our Old Hickory Steakhouse inside that beautiful building, which is the marquee restaurant for all Gaylord resorts, not only the one you're enjoying here in Nashville, Tennessee, but also our sister resort in Washington, D.C., Florida, Texas, the Rockies, and they're building a brand new one now in California, south of San Diego, a place called Chula Vista, I think that's what it's called. So we've got award-winning recipes for steaks there. Recommend they take reservations after 5, and just all kind of neat places throughout this resort. So we're coming up. I'm excited. I told you this is my first boat. This is my favorite tree. The tree on the right. You see the red blossoms on it? Those red blossoms look like powder puffs or pom-poms. This is a pom-pom tree. Now, as we get closer, I want you to look on there and see if you can see anything that looks like red raspberries. If you do, point it out to your neighbor. You see some red raspberries up there? Well, I want to tell you what the technical name for those red raspberries, if I can remember how to pronounce it. The technical name for those red raspberries are pom-pom wannabes. Well, that's my name for them. Because they can't wait till the day they get the poop out and they become another pom-pom. Every day I come to work, the tree changes. So it's a fun tree to watch. Now we are in the waterfall section of our boat ride, if you hadn't noticed. I'll tell you what that first aid kit is for a little bit, okay? All right. These waterfalls are not only beautiful to look at, they serve an important function to the life of our river. Every 3.5 hours, all of the 450,000 gallons of water in the river underneath us are run through one of these waterfalls. Serves as a water filtration system, and it also puts oxygen back in the water. Helps take care of our fish. Do y'all know we have fish in here? There are blue catfish, channel catfish. You got it? Good job. Bluegill and some big old carp. All right. Yes, ma'am. I'm going to tell you about the book and the first aid kit when we get under this bridge. I'll tell you. I'll explain it all to you. That's a good question, though. All right. So, but first I want to tell you about these trees here. These are, with big green leaves, these are banana palms. You see the bananas at the top of the tree? The bunches of bananas? Now, do they look like the bananas you'd pick out to take home from the grocery store? Yeah, there's a big bunch on the other side of the river. These are so small and green, we wouldn't pick those out. These are Asian bananas. They have a sweet, savory flavor, and they're packed with potassium. So they call them apple bananas, too. I'd like to look back behind the boat above me. Check out these windows here. They look like the bay windows. This is one of our presidential suites. It's the only one with 2 tiers. That means there's 2 floors of rooms back there. Many of our presidents have stayed in that suite. Celebrities like staying in that suite. Dolly Parton, you know who that? Dolly Parton, she loves to stay in that suite. Now, Dolly, she's just one of our celebrities. She's not a U.S. president yet. Y'all could stay in there if you'd like to. It's only $4,000 or $5,000 a night. Easy breezy. Go under. This is a banyan tree from India. My script says I'm supposed to say it's kind of a wishing tree. That if you make a wish under a banyan tree, it's bound to come true. I don't know if that's so or not. You can give it a shot. I had a gentleman pull out his lottery ticket under this tree. I also had a young lady wish for a husband. I said, don't waste your wish on that. My goodness gracious. Before Christmas, there was a family from India in the back of my boat, and the father explained to me that in the Hindu faith, the banyan tree is considered a holy tree. And there are certain times during the year that they will come under a banyan tree and they will pray for God's blessings. So whether you want to pray for a blessing or make a wish, I do hope good things come your way. But see these vines hanging down? This is actually the root system of a banyan tree. And if these roots were allowed to reach fertile ground and take root, this banyan tree would continue to grow out. That's why we've had to prune off these limbs sometimes, because it would keep growing and growing. It would take over this whole atrium. In India, they have a tree called the great banyan. That thing is 4.5 acres, and it's still growing. They say you look at it, it looks like a rainforest, and there's actually a whole village living under that one tree. It is one massive tree. So at the beginning of the journey, you remember I showed you that smallest tree? Let me show you our tallest, largest tree. Way up here on the right side. That's a beautiful mahogany tree up there. And if you look at that mahogany tree, let your eyes begin to drop down from that mahogany tree, past the fern, down the rock wall, right before you get to the water's edge. You see our friend Stoney the alligator? You see him? Stoney got a hat on. I wouldn't make fun of him though if I was you. He gets kind of testy about that. Don't worry, Stoney's not going to bother you. He's been stoned so long, he don't move an inch anymore. Did y'all notice there's a lot of stairs here at Gaylord Opryland? Every time I turn around, there's stairs to climb or go up or down or all around. You need to remember this red brick building because inside of this is a new invention. They call it an elevator. and you skip those stairs. So as you get off first level, you cross this bridge where these people are there, and you'll be at the Delta Island where you check out the food and shopping opportunities, and then go down and see that Delta Falcon show that I mentioned to you earlier. So these boats that we are riding on were specially made for the Delta Riverboat Company. Hi, oh my goodness gracious, scared the bejeebies out of me. These are replicas of the Mississippi River flatboats that Mark Twain writes about in The Adventures of Tom Sawyer and Huckleberry Finn. But those two guys aren't the only one likes to go on adventure. Now here's the answer to your question. Somebody was asking, why is there a book and why is there a first aid kit and why is there a tent? Well, we have a character that's here at Opryland, Gaylord Opryland. It's called Sophie, and she loves to go on adventures, but silly Sophie lost all of her adventure stuff all around the river. So at night, there is another cruise. It starts at 6:30, goes to close. It's called a Delta Adventure Cruise. And the kids get a list of all the things that Sophie lost around here, and they find them all, and then they get a special prize for it. That's what all that stuff's about. Okay? Does that answer your question? Good. That's Sophie's journal, and that's Sophie's first aid kit.
Part of
That
their
was Sophie's
theming
hat
that they do here.
on the alligator. You know, he's wearing a girl's hat. Isn't that silly? All right. This boat is powered by 16 car-sized batteries, which is in the middle of the boat. And don't panic if you look back here and see I don't have my hand on the steering wheel. There ain't no steering wheel. It's on the track. It takes care of that. That is our boathouse. You don't usually get to see that, but since I brought out this boat to take y'all so you wouldn't have to wait in line, we got the extra boats in there. When we had that flood back in 2010, the water in there is about 5.5 feet deep. And so all the boats got lifted up to the ceiling. When they couldn't go any higher, they filled with water and they sunk to the bottom of the river. Now, if I ever had an opportunity to stay in this beautiful resort, I guarantee you, friends, I'm not going to be staying in that presidential suite. Not on my salary. But I wouldn't mind seeing if I can get one of these balcony rooms. How neat it would be to sit there and have my morning coffee and just enjoy the scenery and watch the people go by. Here's why it's always so nice and comfortable in the Delta. These black rectangles in between the balconies, behind that mesh, is our air ventilation system. And it does two things. First of all, it makes sure the air inside this atrium is clean and healthy for us to breathe. Every 24 hours, it's circulated at least 4 times. And then secondly, it controls the temperature in here. No matter how hot or cold it is on the outside, inside the Delta, it's a comfortable 68 to 72 degrees. The reason for that is because, you know, not only it makes us humans happy, but our plants and our trees, they're more used to tropical weather instead of Tennessee weather. If you know anything about Tennessee, it can go anywhere from 0 to 100 degrees in a month's time or a week's time, or sometimes even a day's time. So this place, these plants thrive in this kind of temperature. Talking about these 3 trees on the left side of the boat where the red bricks are, they were actually gifts to us celebrating when we reopened after the flood. These are cocoa trees that they grow pods on it, and in the pods are cocoa beans, which we make what with? Chocolate. Yeah, like that, don't you? So I see that the dock is ahead of us. It won't be long before we're arriving there. I thank you for spending a little bit of your time with us with the Delta Riverboat Company. I hope you've enjoyed your ride and maybe learned a little bit about this beautiful place. My name is Paul, and I'll be at the dock the rest of the day. So if I can ever help you find your way around, just holler for me. And as we approach the dock, please make sure you keep hands and fingers inside. Parents, watch your kitties. Kitties, watch your parents. I don't want anybody to get hurt. The boat will rock up against the dock. I don't want anybody injured under my watch. Let's all stay seated until the boat gets secured. Once it is secured in the front, we'll ask our people from the front if y'all would exit first using the very same steps you came in on where the yellow tape is. Y'all in the back just sit tight until we get them safely off the boat. Too many get up at one time, it gets to rocking too bad. Then y'all will go down on these steps. Remember to go around the front, check out the photo that was made for you at the beginning of your journey. You may want to purchase that for a keepsake, and I want to thank y'all so much for being with me here on the Delta Riverboat ride. Enjoy your rest of the time at Gaylord Opryland in Nashville, and have a great day and a wonderful life. Thank you.
Thank you, Paul.